All right, guys, it's your fun Friday episode. I know you're excited to be here. You made it through another week. Hallelujah. Before we go much further, though, we're going to start. We're going to start in God's words. We're going straight to the book of Haggai this month, okay, this week, rather. And we're going to be in chapter 1, verses 5 and 6. Just looking at 2 verses, but they have a lot in them, guys, okay? So it says, now, this is what the Lord Almighty says. Give careful thought to your ways. You have planted much, but harvested little. You eat, but never have enough. You drink, but never have your fill. You put on clothes, but are not warm. You earn wages only to put them in a purse with holes in it. So, guys, a lot of scripture that we can actually apply to our lives right now. Go back and listen to the spiritual kickoff for sure. Spent a lot of time trying to take that one and unpack it a little bit for you guys. Because I tell you what, if we're not careful of our ways, man, so many things can happen that are just not in alignment with what God desires for you. Now, if you missed the episode on Wednesday, the meat episode this week, spend some time talking about quality time. And does that even exist anymore? So shout out to my oldest Chloe for challenging me with this one, with this idea, and for me to take the time to unpack it. And I hope that helped you guys. I really talked about quality time for yourself. What does that for yourself look like? And it's got to start with your time with God, first and foremost, guys. Then we talked about quality time with our spouse, and not just time, actual quality time with our spouse, and how we can make intentional efforts to improve that. And we talked about quality time with our children. So for those that have kids, I know it can be stressful. It can wear you out. It's one of the hardest jobs on the planet. So how can we take that from just busy to quality? We really spent some time unpacking that. And then finally, we talked about how we need to have quality time with other men. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're out there and you're trying to do this whole thing called life by yourself without other brothers around you, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to struggle. You're going to hit the wall. You got to have a group of men that are helping you. And so we talked about the lion's den, the lion within us, the things we're doing within our community to help serve Christian men. So I pray, guys, that you take some of those things that we talked about in the quality time episode and you apply them in whatever area that you want to work on the most right now. Maybe it's you. You just need to work on your area, your quality time for taking care of yourself. Maybe you need to start taking care of yourself physically more, mentally more. Maybe you need to spend more time in the Word more. Guys, go back and check that one out because I really gave put some effort in that one, trying to give you guys some insights into some tips that actually make an impact. All right, so for our Fun Friday, though, what we're going to be doing. We're going to be focusing on a health tip, a wealth tip, and a self tip to help you guys be the leader God intend you to be. So now, a health tip. I was thinking about this with my wife. Actually, this is her idea and something that I've been trying to do more and more, particularly for you guys that work from home. Now, for you guys that don't work from home and you have a commute, this is for you as well. But you need to focus on that transition from work to home. There's a transition that needs to happen there. Now, for some guys, that means you need to actually, put your phone in airplane mode when you get home. That's not always, an option for you guys. So what you do need to do is work on whatever that transition looks like. Now, for you work from home guys like me, my wife had a great idea. I started doing it where I work to a designated time. Usually it's 5 or after 5, 5:36, whatever that time is. And instead of coming straight to the kitchen table for dinner, I'll actually go out and shoot basketball, or I'll go do some pull-ups, or I'll just go outside and get some fresh air. But it's usually about 10 to 15 minutes of intentional unplugged time to where I can get out of that work mindset and start transitioning to, okay, husband, dad, not the lion, not all the other things that are happening. How can I transition to be there, to be who they need me to be in those moments, so that when I'm there at the dinner table, I'm not just there physically, but I'm there mentally as well. I'm checked in. So you need to work on that transition. I know one of our members talked about, sometimes on his drive home, he'd mentally go through an exercise of basically closing up everything from work. That way, when he got home from that drive, he's there. Maybe that means on your way home, maybe you listen to a podcast, maybe you listen to the Lion or other podcasts, maybe you listen to some worship music, whatever you need to do to make that transition happen. Because we brought work into the homes it's way too easy, guys. And then they get the worst of us. Because think about it, at the end of the day, a lot of you guys are tired. You busted it all day. You got things to do. Your calendar's busy, and they get the worst version. We got to learn how to make that transition, and that transition with intent. Okay, transition with intent, so that we get home, that we're ready to serve. We're ready to be that leader that we've been. God intends us to be. Right? I know you've been called to lead your family. You have been handpicked by God to lead your family. To lead your family. So do that, and make that transition so that when you're there, you can be effective, strong, and be the one that they need you to be. Now, for your wealth tip for you guys, this is kind of interesting one. I think you can have some fun with. But go find a compound interest calculator. Just Google it. You can find compound interest calculators all over the internet. And then get your kids, particularly if they get late elementary, middle school, high school for sure, and start playing with the calculator and show them the power of compound interest. Because you hear this talk all the time about compound interest, compound interest, compound interest. And until you start actually doing some math and showing them the power that it has, the light bulb is probably not going to go off. But when you have a compound interest catalog and you show them what maybe $100 or $200 in investments per a month compounded over time could yield, man, next thing you know, you'll start opening some eyes. And the whole idea around this is we want to create better stewards, right? Better stewards. A steward is just someone who manages what somebody else has given them. So God's given us provision. He takes care of us. We need to be good stewards. So use a compound interest calculator and have some fun with it. I'm telling you, this could be a fun way that you actually open the eyes of your children and give them an opportunity to see what the power of compound interest could do for them. And it may make them be a little more intentional around saving and investing in the future, which, you know what, we don't have enough of that being talked about right now. Definitely it's not being taught in our schools. So we need to have opportunities, and anytime you can find fun ways to do it. Hey, you're playing with fake money, just have some fun. Hey, here's what I do if I invested $1 million. Make some big numbers up to watch it really, really jump, but just get out there and show them how that can work for them. And if you get to this point where you want to show them how it's worked for you directly, that's even better. All right, now our self tip for the week. This came from one of our recent Ask Me Anything events, and our speaker brought up the idea of a weekly staff meeting. Okay, now the weekly staff meeting is where you check in with your spouse and your family. You can do them separately or together. I like to probably do the spouse one-on-one, and then you bring in the family for a weekly staff meeting to go over what you and she have agreed upon, right? But what you're doing in these staff meetings is you're having that intentional time to connect and get aligned on the calendar, on the logistics of the week, as well as this is an opportunity to connect with her specifically just about your relationship. How are things going? Are there areas you need to work on? Are there areas that she is concerned about? Are there areas you're concerned about? What would you like to start planning for? This is just a good check-in time. Now, you hear me talk about a lot, have the monthly budget meeting, that budget committee meeting. That's super important because the families that budget together, thrive together. But I'm telling you, this is another really important way that you can keep aligned on, what's going on. Now, I know a lot of you guys have calendars. You have digital calendars. You have, the old school calendars, maybe dry erase calendars that you're keeping up all the different family activities. And that's great. But don't miss this opportunity. Once a week, just be intentional. Hey, let's just get synced up here. It's super important just to get synced up, particularly as your family grows, as you start doing more activities, you start serving more, you start doing more things at church, whatever it may be. It gets busier and busier. So be intentional. You're going to have to put some effort into this to have, if you want to call it something else, fine. Weekly check-in, weekly staff meeting is what was brought up in the community. So I thought it made a lot of sense. So I have that. Now, again, it doesn't happen unless you actually plan it. So you need to find a time and a day, during the week that it's going to be least likely where you're going to cancel it. So it may be like a Saturday night thing or Saturday afternoon, or it could be a Sunday type of deal. Maybe it's the first thing Monday. I don't know. Usually by the time Monday starts, like you're into your week, my recommendation would be sometime over a weekend, be consistent with it. Maybe it's an early Saturday morning thing, and you get up and you and your spouse are having coffee together, and you just lay out, all right, here, let's get aligned on what's going on. Or maybe it's Sunday afternoon after you had your Sunday afternoon nap and you're chilling out and you're having dinner. Maybe you and her take 10, 15, 20 minutes and get aligned. Whatever that looks like. You have to figure that out, but be intentional about it, okay? So there are your tips for your health tip. Focus on that transition from work to home. Work from home. You got to transition there. Self tip. Take some time. Get compound interest calculator and show your kids the power of that. And your self tip. Let's start implementing that weekly staff meeting to stay aligned and connected with our spouse. All right, now your book of the week this week. I want to call this one out. This is actually called Relationshots, a practical guide to relationship success. 52 weeks of intentional growth for couples. This is from my friend Eric Wooten. Eric came, he was on our show earlier when the Lion first was getting going. He came on and shared about the magnetic marriage. So he was one of our recent Ask Me Anything guests, probably one of the most powerful ones we had. We had a bunch of spouses that joined in on that show as well. On that event as well. It was really great. Eric did a phenomenal job. He answered a lot of their questions. This is his most recent book. What he has here is basically it's a chapter. You can use this as like a chapter a week, and he's just giving you practical ways that you can improve your relationship over time. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of really good things in here, a lot of really good tips, and they're all come with. He gives you a little thing you can watch. He gives you a little bit of context so that you can understand. Then he gives you a call to action. Okay. A little call to action that will help you and your spouse move this thing forward. So I'm telling you, there's a lot to unpack here, a lot of videos, a lot of questions. If you're looking for a good date night activities, you could take this and work through a chapter. And maybe you work through a chapter a week or just spread it out over or a longer period of time. But take this because you never know. If you're intentional about your relationship, it's amazing what God will do and how things will grow. So again, Relationshots from Eric Wooten. Make sure you check out the link in the show notes. We'll have a link to that for you guys if you want to add this to your library. Eric's a great guy. I love him to death. He's just such a cool dude. Very laid back, very chill. He's got an online community as well where he tries to serve couples. So guys, just check him out and be for sure. I'll put a link in the show notes as well for his YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. I definitely highly encourage you guys to get on that. All right, now for your dad jokes this week. Let's go. Got 2 dad jokes this week. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. Dad joke number 1. How does the moon cut his hair? He clips it. Right? That's it. And number 2, I bought some expensive laxatives. They gave me a good run for my money. So that's probably for my oldest daughter. We're still into the potty humor thing around here. So that's for her. But number 1, how does the moon cut his hair? He clips it. Number 2, I bought some expensive laxatives. They gave me a good run for my money. So I know my wife is somewhere rolling her eyes. She can't believe I pulled number 2 out. But hey, I put number 2 as number 2. So there you go. And it's the gift that keeps on giving, fellas. So hopefully you enjoyed that one. Let me know which one lands best for sure. Remember, eye rolls count. So definitely, if you have a dad joke submittal, jump into the community. Well, I get a lot of these submittals from the guys in the community, so I'd love to get your dad joke. All right, so your question this week, guys, we've been talking about where does quality time fit on your busy schedule? I'm telling you, your calendars are jam full. I know they are. I know they're jam full, but busy does not mean quality. So how can you start putting quality time on your busy calendar? Hopefully this week give you some ideas that you can start implementing to make a big impact on your calendar, not just your calendar, but an impact on others. It's all about relationships and growing relationships and loving one another. If we're not intentional about what we do, the steps we take, guys, you're never going to build relationships the way that you want to. I know the way that you desire to. So hopefully you've enjoyed these tips. Come back again on next week. We'll be serving you, trying to do some more things to get out there and help you be the leader God intends you to be. Guys, if you haven't given us a rating and review yet, please do that. If you want to be a donor, please, we'd love your support. Hop on, be a monthly donor for the Lion Within Us. Any amount helps. I tell you, any amount helps us do the work we've been called to do. Maybe you haven't joined that community yet and you want to jump in and check it out, but you just haven't got off the fence yet. I'm telling you, what are you waiting on? We give you a free 30-day trial. Hop in. Let's have a conversation. Let me show you how we serve others. If it doesn't serve you, that's fine. Hop out. It's all good. You have 30 days. You have a month, fellas, a month to try it out. So go to thelionwithin.us. Join us for free. Hop in there. Let's see how we can serve you. Let's see if you like the events that we do, the different type of resources that we've built to help you grow, be the leader God intends you to be. I pray you come back next week. Maybe if you want to come to the website, thelionwithin.us. Go check out our merchandise. We have our Never Retreat shirts out there, guys. They are hot. They're off the press. They are ready to go. We have our Lion Within Us hats. We have decals you can hook up on the back of your car or your truck. I'm telling you, we have some fun stuff out there on our merchandise store that you want to check out. And then speaking, starting to do more and more speaking, guys. So go to thelionwithin.us. Go to our speaking page. You'll see that drop-down menu. And you'll have an opportunity to see the different types of talks and presentations that we have ready. And if it's something that we can help serve you and your men's group or just your church in general, or maybe your small group, whatever it may be, a lot of those topics are pretty open. Let me know. Reach back. You can take action right there on the website. You can book. You can request more information, and we'll be there looking forward to getting out and sharing the good news of the gospel with others and helping more and more men understand, look, it's really about just growing in Christ and understanding how we can simplify and apply this and apply it to our life, to our walk, to our marriage. I'm telling you, fellas, to your career. That's what it's all about. To me, I get so fired up on this stuff. It really is something I see that God is why He's created the Lion Within Us, why we do what we do each and every week, help each and every one of us grow. So I'll see you guys back here on next week. Get after this weekend. Have some fun. Do whatever He calls you to do. Be obedient and unleash the lion within. Does your men's group feel stale? Is men's ministry at your church simply going through the motions? If the answer is yes, the Lion Within Us is ready to give you the kickstart you need to get moving in the right direction. We have a host of topics from marriage, parenting, finances, and leadership that I am delivering myself to help your team start doing the work God has called you to do. So I'm ready to come serve your groups in person. And to get started, visit thelionwithin.us/speaking. That's thelionwithin.us/speaking. There you can contact us directly or share the link with your church leadership to get started. Again, that's thelionwithin.us/speaking. And I look forward to helping others unleash the lion within.